Thank you. Yes, it is a blockbusting day of Premier League football, and it centres on the capital. Liverpool in East London, at West Ham later. Chelsea host Arsenal, and we start here at Selhurst, where Crystal Palace have had a hold over Manchester United in recent years. South London has not been an enjoyable place for United, but Ruben Amorim needs a reaction after Monday night. Have his team got the character required, or will Palace win and move level on points with Chelsea in third? These are the two teams. Henderson in goal for Palace, Richards, Lacroix and Guehi, Munoz, Kamada, Wharton and Mitchell, Sarr and Pino in support of Mateta, and Palace in their familiar red and blue striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks. Manchester United today in an almost all-white kit, very light pink shirts, white shorts and white socks, and they have Lamens in goal, Yoro, De Ligt and Shaw in central defence, Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Dalot in the middle, with Mountain and Burmo either side of Zirkzee up front. You will not need to be anywhere else when all the goals go in from 2 o'clock on Game Day Live, taking you around the grounds, but we start here in South London, and Crystal Palace just love playing Manchester United of late. It'll be United to get us underway from left to right in the first half towards the Holmesdale Road end, packed as ever with Crystal Palace supporters. In fact, there's not a spare seat to be had that I can see around the ground, and Palace playing from right to left in the first half towards the White Horse Lane stand. The match referee is ready to go, and we are off and underway, live and exclusive on Talk Sport and on the Talk Network. And straight away, United go long to Zirkzee, who flicks the ball into the penalty area. Chasing is Diogo Dalot, but it's swept away by Maxence Lacroix, out of play for a throw on the far side of the field to Manchester United, who are looking for a fast start here, Troy Deeney.
Yeah, very direct start. They've just gone back to the keeper and put it right deep into the Palace half. Good win from Zirkzee and Dalot and Mason Mount as the runners, but a long throw coming in now. From
Dalot, high to the near post, flicked on by De Ligt and hooked on into the penalty area. There's a chance here. Casemiro somehow can't bundle it over the line. What a stop by Dean Henderson against his old club.
Well, we just spoke about how direct they are. Long throw, De Ligt with a flick on, he's bouncing around. It looks like Casemiro gets a touch on it, but doesn't get a great contact, and then Dean Henderson just clears up. But it's been a great first 30 seconds for Man United, starting really, really quickly.
Lots of intensity from Manchester United as Casemiro plays the ball up the middle towards Mason Mount. It's smuggled away up to Yeremy Pino in the centre circle, and he goes back to Marc Guehi. About 2/3 of the pitch bathed in lovely sunshine. These are great conditions for football on a Sunday lunchtime. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. Mateta could be away up the middle, but De Ligt did enough to let the ball roll into the path of Luke Shaw, and now Lamens all in bright yellow. The new Manchester United goalkeeper hoists it high downfield. Palace win it back momentarily, but it's given away to Shaw, who's making his 300th Manchester United appearance today. Now Ahmad on the halfway line. We can see Ruben Amorim and Oliver Glasner either side of the halfway line in these small technical areas in front of the old main stand, and we're sitting right at the back of it, to the right of the halfway line. One or two pillars in the way. It's a ground of great character and noise here, Selhurst Park. The crowd are nice and close to the pitch, but it's Manchester United who've made the early running, Troy.
Yeah, it's been a great start for Man United. Just watching in this build-up, Palace just sitting nice and wait. Just seeing Amorim down to our left, and I was seeing it as Brandon Burma drops down to come and show for the ball. There's a massive space in behind. It's there for Ahmad or Zirkzee to run in behind, and he's just waving his arms like run, because it's really obvious to do. But Zirkzee just stands up against, I think that's Lacroix in the middle, just stands up against him and is trying to pin him. The space is all down the side. Just run, stretch this pitch. Otherwise, it's going to play into what Palace want, which is a high press, turning the ball over and allowing them to win the ball back in Man United's half.
2,000 Manchester United fans here today in the sunshine on the far side, already making plenty of noise, and they are always well backed on their travels, Manchester United. The two number 7s go head to head. Sarr raiding down the right, eluded Mason Mount. Good sliding challenge by Dalot. hooking the ball away from underneath the feet of Sarr, who's gone down and has stayed down. It's not a head injury, but I think Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes is going to stop the game here because Sarr is still down on the turf, and that's very sporting from Bruno Fernandes. And I think they're going to need the physio on here as Dalot lunged in on Sarr, who then went to ground.
It's the right ankle after. Dalot wins the ball, but as he lands, Sarr, he lands on Dalot's sliding foot, just completely rolls the ankle over. Doesn't look great for Isma, but I'm sure he'll be up. He's a tough boy.
Troy Deeney, who played alongside Ismaila Sarr in their days at Watford, and Sarr has scored in 2 Premier League wins against Manchester United as a Watford player before. It's 0-0 in the 4th minute, and the game is stopped here. Relatively chilly at Selhurst Park, but the sun is shining. Sarr being treated over on the far side. Lots to come today on TalkSport. 2 o'clock Game Day Live with Sam Matterface, Dean Ashton and Perry Groves. All the goals as they go in, including Chelsea against Arsenal at 4:30 and Liverpool away at West Ham at 2:05. And then next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got all the Premier League football live and exclusive on the TalkSport network. The best way to be across all of that is to download the TalkSport app. Just the one chance in the game so far, and Casemiro denied from virtually on the goal line by Dean Henderson-Troy, and it's good to see that Sarr's back on his feet again.
Yeah, it's just a rolled ankle for Sarr, but just going back to that chance there for Casemiro, it looks like Brian Mbeumo kicks it as well, so he kind of gets a toe on it, which then means that Casemiro can't get full contact, and it makes the save a little bit easier for Dean Henderson. But Palace look like they're a little bit sluggish on the ball from that Thursday night, obviously playing and travelling back from France. Granted, it's not a far travel, but it still just disrupts your sleep, and they just seem a little bit off at this moment in time.
And this is the first game, first of 10 for Crystal Palace in the next 33 days. Here is Shaw on the halfway line for Manchester United, left of centre, of course. Plays the ball square to De Ligt, alone in the centre circle. No pressure on De Ligt whatsoever, not even from Mateta. They are a bit deep and passive at the moment, Crystal Palace, as they invite Manchester United to come forward. Out on the left is Mason Mount. Mount now nudges it backwards to Diogo Dalot. Everybody in the blue and red behind the ball for the home team. Though Manchester United are not exactly playing at a great pace all of a sudden here.
No, this is exactly the same as what they were doing against Everton. It's going left to right. It's not really going anywhere.
Shaw does go over the top, eventually towards Bruno Fernandes, Dalot rather, and there was a deflection on that hoisted pass and out of play for a corner.
Well, it needs runners in behind, and until Man United have willing runners without the ball, it's got to be a struggle. Palace obviously dropped off there because they're down to 10 men, so let's see what they can do from this corner.
At the Holmesdale Road end, and Bruno Fernandes is going to go across and take it for Manchester United in front of the Crystal Palace masses. Away to the right hand side, Palace have brought everybody back to defend it. Plenty of those Manchester United players are forward. In by Bruno Fernandes, deep to the back post. De Ligt is climbing with a looping header, punched away by Henderson. They really crowded the goalkeeper there, so he had to stay rooted to his line in the first instance. Henderson eventually gets a punch on it, out of play for a Manchester United throw.
Yeah, good goalkeeping. Loads of players at the back process. Clearly an area that Man United have identified as a bit of a weakness. I think as well, just looking at this Palace side, that they're a big side. We'd like to see Man United just move it, try and work something there, because if you're trying to get your big players against their big players, I back Palace's players to win the first contact 9 times out of 10.
Manchester United in this off-white away kit today. Richards for Crystal Palace with the curly hair has nudged it forward to Adam Wharton, who of course continues to be linked with Manchester United. Lots of talk from some that this is an audition for Old Trafford. £70 million is the price that's been quoted. Wharton with a lovely ball over halfway. That's his strength, his passing, and Mateta shrugs aside De Ligt like he's not even there. Into the area with a low shot, and from the angle he hits the side netting. That was poor from De Ligt.
It was poor. He's tried to read the run down the side, and he's left a little nudge in there from Mateta, knocks him off stride, and he's away. He's breaking into the edge of the 18-yard box, coming in from this left-hand side, cuts onto his right foot, and the angle is to try and bend it. Thierry Henry style to the far side. Weirdly, he tries to lace it near post, scuffs it into the side net. It never really looked like scoring. He had 2 others in the box, and we're just seeing a replay of Oliver Glasner not being too impressed. But that's the difference between the two teams. When Palace are building up, they've got willing runners, so as that ball comes into Wharton, he can just spin it down the side, doesn't really have to look where it's going. It's just a ball into space, and because he knows he's got willing runners, it's normally a good pass. Man United is all in front. There is nothing for Crystal Palace to worry about defensively behind them, and that's a key difference between the two.
Troy Deeney, former Premier League striker, is with us on Talk Sport today. We've had 8 minutes and it's still Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0, but quite a lively start to the game as Lamens drives the ball high downfield. It's over the head of Xerxes, met by Lacroix in the first instance. Lacroix, who is as solid as they get in terms of centre-halves in the Premier League. He's played every minute this season in all competitions for Crystal Palace. Heavy back pass by Kamada, well controlled by Henderson in green, and Henderson will clear long outfield.
Yeah, great touch. As you say, Kamada just testing his touch a bit there. Oh, he's in.
He's giving it away again to Mason Mount, who works it wide to Ahmad. On the near side, the right, Manchester United go backwards rather than play vertically. But then Kamada makes his third mistake in a matter of moments. He's late on the challenge with Casemiro, and it's a Manchester United free kick, Troy.
Yeah, but again, so Palace just turn it over in the middle of the park. No real pressure on Kamada. Makes a bad pass. Gives it straight to Mason Mount. 25-30 yards out. It's 2v2. Go and drive, go and make something happen. His first pass, he gives it to Buemo, side pass, a little bit behind him, and Brian ends up coming back, and then they end up with basically getting a foul. What are they now, 35-40 yards out?
Yeah.
They run the ball 25 yards out. It's just have that little bit of, it's like the manager set them up in training to do certain drills and certain formations, and then everyone's forgotten that they can actually think for themselves. If that would have went to Cunha, his first thought would have been forward, drive, go 1v1 and get a shot off. Really disappointing there for Mason Mount and for Man United. It's too structured at the moment.
Sideways and backwards. Bruno Fernandes stands over this free kick. The Manchester United captain whips the ball high into the penalty area, and the header is wide from Casemiro, and that's 2 chances that he's had now.
Should do better with that. It's a great ball from Bruno Fernandes. Pace and powers on the ball, and he's got a free header at it. He just tries to guide it. He's got Mark Gahey on the back of him. He tries to guide it, glances the header just wide. It's got to be more of a firm contact, but it's a big chance out for Casemiro, 8 yards out, and just see the replay of him punching the floor there. He knows that's a big moment.
Yes, Casemiro in frustration, wearing the gloves today, I know, but it really isn't that cold, is it?
Depends who you ask. Adrian Durham shivering next to me.
He's got a hat and a scarf on. It's not that bad, is it? Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. United on the attack with Xerxes trying to hold the ball up down the left wing position, far side of the field, and here he is looking to thread it forward in an infield position towards Dalot, but it's poked away by Crystal Palace up to the halfway line. This is an opportunity for Munoz to clip the ball all the way back to his goalkeeper.
But the difference is there, when Munoz wins it back on the halfway line, he's got Sarr running, he's got Pino running. He probably made the safer option there to keep the ball, but there's always a willing runner for Palace. I feel like a broken record, but there's always someone running in behind him, just keeping this Man United back line thinking about what's coming behind them.
Lots of talk about the shape of both teams and the way that in theory they play the same formation. Oliver Glasner and Ruben Amorim both in dark coats, about 10 yards apart on the halfway line at the moment, and Crystal Palace have possession. It's 0-0 on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Mateta's held the ball up on halfway, and he looks for Munoz on the far side of the field, and he's got runners square and in front of him. Here goes Adam Wharton with a ball up the middle, well controlled by Pino, lays it on to Kamada, plays it further forward. Mitchell on the overlap with a low cross, and it's cleared away by Lenny Yoro, as if to show your point in action, Troy Deeney.
Yeah, good play from Palace again. Good ball from Wharton into Pino. Wraps one in there. Pino deals with it, set to Kamada, and they've got willing runners on the outside again. It's not too intricate. It looks more intricate on the eye, but it's pass forward, run forward, pass forward, run forward. And again, we talk about Man United not doing that, but Palace are exceptional at doing that, and they're going to come now with the long throw from Richards.
Had about 60 hours to prepare for this game, Crystal Palace. Since Thursday night, they have not got a good record after Conference League games this season. But here goes Richards at the White Horse Lane end. 12 minutes gone, 0-0. Long throw into the near post, only half away. Wharton hits it! Oh, straight at Lamens. And if he'd put it either side of the goalkeeper, there might have been a problem, but he's only 12, 15 or so yards out.
Yeah, it's again, just carnage from long throws. I don't know when this became a thing where centre-backs didn't know how to go and head the ball, but everything keeps breaking. We saw it with Man United earlier. Just comes there for Man United not getting a good header to clear the box. Falls to Wharton on his weak foot, which I think he's more worried about the contact. The technique was fantastic. Straight at Lamens. So anything either side, as you say, Joe, would have been a goal.
Very strange, scrappy passage of play as Pino nudges it forward eventually towards Gehi, and it's overhit and goes all the way through to Lamens again.
Because it's coming from the same thing. They're building up with play here in Man United, and just try and paint the picture for everyone. Brian Mbeumo's coming right the way down the line of the ball. He's got Mark Gehi coming in, so if you can imagine the three centre-backs, the left-hand side is open. He's allowing space for Ahmad to run and Xerxes to run in the gap, but because they're not doing it, they have to play the ball to Brian's feet. As soon as he touches the ball, Palace are just jumping on him with 3 and 4 players. They've got to run in behind without the ball, has to be.
6 goals this season for Brian Mbeumo, who grew up supporting Manchester United. Palace with Munoz in the wing-back position, plays it back to goalkeeper Henderson. The 2 subs benches, by the way, for Palace: Benitez, Lerma, Nketiah, Uche, Klein. Pressure on Henderson here, and he manages to clear left-footed. Hughes, Essa, Convo, and Devaney. I'll give you the Manchester United bench in a moment. Kamada shuffles back towards the edge of his own box and rolls it back to Henderson again. Manchester United, who were unbeaten in 5 in the Premier League before that crushing defeat to Everton on Monday. Given the circumstances, it was really poor, and the ball has hit Yoro and fallen here for Mateta, and he's dragged it wide. Another big chance for Jean-Philippe Mateta, and Crystal Palace profligate in front of goal again.
Has to score. It's just a long, hopeful ball from Dean Henderson. Mateta jumps just to try and put the lit off, but the lit header just hits Lenny Yoro straight in the shins and ends up being a great through ball for Mateta. 18 yards out in the D. As strikers, we work on this every single day after training. In the D, 1v1, he just drags it, misses the target. Spoke about it in the build-up, Joe. That, for me, is why he doesn't score enough goals. He misses massive chances. That's why in a market where people are looking to buy a striker, where there's not that many, no one really put a bid in for him. He's great with the link-up play. Wonderful attributes in terms of what he can do. Can't keep missing those chances. Absolutely can't.
It was quite an ugly, clumsy strike of the ball, wasn't it?
He did it last time out as well.
Yeah.
Against Wolves, 1v1, missed the target on the opposite side. It seems to me the more instinctive the shot, the more he scores. The fact he had 2-3 seconds there to pick his moment, the better. But worrying.
Oliver Glasner is really frustrated about these missed chances that Crystal Palace are seeing game after game at the moment, and now Manchester United with a long throw in by Dalot. Was that a foul throw? Assistant thought not, and now they counter Crystal Palace. Well, they were nearly away with Sarr. Covering was Mason Mount to send it back to Senna Lamens.
That throw-in was like something you'll see up and down the country from an under-5s game. He literally jumped with both feet off the ground, and the linesman, what was he, 3 yards to his right-hand side, just couldn't see nothing, honestly.
Sunday Premier League, Sunday League. It is 0-0.
But again, Joe, look, you're seeing it now. Man United in their own half, just moving the ball left to right, nothing really happening. You need runners, and Luke Shaw there's just helped one up into Xerxes. He's done really well, but he's ended up now just doing it to force someone to run, because it's all in front of Palace, and Man U started off really quickly for the first 3 or 4 minutes and have fallen back into that pattern of just moving it left to right and not really doing anything.
Bruno Fernandes drives the ball out to the near side, and Ahmad, who waits for the run of Mbeumo, actually pointing the way forward there. Ahmad, Mark Gehi heads it away, but he was fouled by Mbeumo, who then throws the ball onto the ground, and he's going to get booked for dissent here, Mbeumo.
Right, I understand it's all optics, but is it Brian Mbeumo throwing the ball on the floor more of a yellow card than Kamada's tackle on Casemiro?
No.
And this is where, for me, the game has absolutely gone. It's not a foul in the first place. Mark Gehi bought one. Brian's obviously frustrated, and he gets a yellow card for bouncing the ball on the floor because optically it doesn't look great.
It's theatrics, isn't it? Because I don't think he said anything.
They just bounced the ball.
Is he allowed to be frustrated?
He should.
Of course he is.
Because again, it's just this whole new reffing scheme that they do. Bear in mind, 30 seconds ago, the linesman missed it at the worst throw-in we've probably seen this year.
Yeah.
That's okay. He won't get reprimanded for it. But a player showed frustration, he gets a yellow card, and now he's got to go through the game at half-mast, essentially.
And Crystal Palace have got a corner at the other end. The ball spun off the top of the head of Yoro and behind and away for a corner, which Yeremy Pino, the number 10, he is the new number 10, of course, following Eberechi Eze, and he will take the corner in the shaded part of the end away to our left-hand side. Plenty forward for Crystal Palace in the blue and red stripes. Lacroix and Richards and Gehi all there. Sarr in front of the goalkeeper. Wharton is up there too, along with Munoz. It's delivered in high over the head of Munoz, not too far away. It'll trickle towards the opposite corner flag, and Diogo Dalot has kept the ball in, and he's going to carry it forward here for Manchester United. 0-0 live on Talk Sport, and Burmo over halfway with a square ball to Xerxes. Backwards now to the on-rushing Casemiro. Ahmad's touch is very heavy in a central area. Pino dispossesses him, but then is sandwiched in between two Manchester United players before Ahmad is simply bullied off the ball by Kamada. Now the counter's on. Kamada, one pass up the inside right. Sarr can look for Mateta in the area. He's blocked off by De Ligt. No great shape to Manchester United there, and they'll have to defend another corner.
You say not great shape, it comes from them same issues again. Breaking away in a counter-attack, gives it to Xerxes, goes backwards for no reason. Casemiro gives a poor ball to Ahmad. Ahmad can literally put it to his right-hand side. Fernandes is in, wants to run in and get his shot off himself, loses the ball, and it plays into Palace's hands. The transition for Palace is what's going to win them this game.
Hibs 0, Celtic 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Adam Wharton has gone across to take the corner in front of the Manchester United fans. One arm up into the air. This is going to be left-footed and in swinging. Here it comes. High into the 6-yard box. Richards with the header across goal. He should have done much better. Only half away. Overhead kick by Pino. Richards at the back post again. He was very tentative there with that effort. Chris Richards, the American. In the end, Manchester United smuggle it behind, but this is quite a clumsy defensive performance so far from Ruben Amorim's team.
Yeah, I thought Richards should have done better with the first header, but Pino does well, keeps it alive. Thought Dalot had handballed it there, very similar to Virgil van Dijk in the week, but gets away with it. Palace do look a threat from set pieces, and Man United have fallen back into that old trap that we saw last year, just feeling a bit sorry for themselves over these last 5 minutes.
20 minutes gone, goalless. Corner in by Pino, and the looping header is wide by Lacroix, always going backwards, and he couldn't steer the ball onto the target, and so it's a goal kick away to the left-hand side.
Be frustrating for Ruben Amorim, but it feels like at this moment that Palace are going to be the ones to break the deadlock. And if I'm Glasner, I'm really happy with the response. Again, we spoke about they played Thursday night, 60 hours to turn around in terms of getting ready for this game. Started pretty quietly and a bit passive, but they've come back to the old Crystal Palace that we know over these last 10 minutes.
Well, they have dominated this fixture in recent times, won 3 of the last 4 Premier League meetings of Palace without conceding in that time either. And already they are 12 points better off than they were at this stage last season. If you remember, they started very slowly, but of course all of that eventually changed. I remember there was even some pressure on Oliver Glasner at one point early last season. Who'd have thought how things would eventually turn out?
It's amazing how things change, isn't it? Was it first 10 games he didn't get a win in their first 10?
Really slow start, yeah.
Something like that. Hadn't won in the first 10, needs to change. Ends up winning the FA Cup, getting them in Europe. So it does show if you stick and persevere with the belief system, it will pay off. Been really disappointed with Man U the last 10 minutes. They started off well, didn't they, Joe? And it just seems to be a case of old habits creeping back in. They all want the ball to feet. Other than Brian and Burma, no one's really running without the ball.
And they have won it back up the pitch now, and Burma up the middle with an early pass to Xerxes when he could have darted forward into what was an empty pocket of space, and then they lose it in midfield through Casemiro. One back by De Ligt and tucked up the inside left channel by Dalot looking for Mason Mount. Dalot takes over again, he goes down. Was he fouled by his opposite number Munoz? He was, and it's a free kick to United in a dangerous position on the far side, level with the edge of the 18-yard area. 0-0, here's Troy Deeney.
Yeah, it's just a tangle of legs. Nothing really that Munoz can do there. Trying to get out of the way, but they just clip ankles as he jumps. Man United is so poor on the ball, so poor. And again, you can talk about shapes, tactics, and managers, but if you can't put your foot on the ball and pass it to someone with quality, then you've always got to struggle. And at this moment in time, it's just really bitty and horrible. Ball comes into Casemiro, he hits it with his left foot onto his right foot. It's all just a bit clunky at the moment, and they're kind of playing for position, a bit like a rugby game, aren't they? They're trying to just get it up there and then play for the fouls.
into that final third is where they are with this free kick, and Crystal Palace have had to bring everybody back at the Holmesdale Road end, and Bruno Fernandes is going to leave it to Mbeumo, left-footed, really poor delivery, headed away by the first man Kamada, equally poor clearance high up into the sky by Pino, and then it was flicked on by Luke Shaw, easily gathered by Dean Henderson.
Yeah, terrible for Pino there. It's an awful ball from Brian Mbeumo, which hits the first man, and Kamada heads it out. 18 yards out, Pino, no one around him, just tries to go old school, have it, kick it away, ends up just kicking it high in the air and put it back in the 18-yard box. Could have been really problematic, but I actually think it's more systematic to the way the game's gone. The game's been so bitty and no real quality.
Yeah.
The only quality, to be fair to, has been from Adam Wharton. He's been the only one who gets it. And again, ball into Casemiro. It's a simple pass into Mbeumo if you 1v1. Gives it away.
Wharton strides forward beyond Casemiro, caught very late. Play goes on with Sarr. Kamada with a low shot, and it's not enough in terms of power to beat Lamens, who dives to his left and makes the save. Casemiro was very late on Wharton there in the build-up. The referee was right to let play continue. I did wonder whether Rob Jones might come back and book Casemiro, but he's not going to.
Yeah, again, they're not as bad as bouncing the ball on the floor, those tackles, are they?
Nowhere near.
Yeah, the game is absolutely gone. Don't worry.
Do you think it should be a yellow? That late tackle? He's late, isn't he?
He's about a second late. Again, he hasn't gone in there intentionally to hurt Wharton, but it's still late. And the thing is, in the second half, that'll be given as a yellow card.
But you hammer the ball on the ground, instant booking. Make it make sense. Forward by Casemiro, a little flick down the inside left, good back header by Richards, well directed to Henderson with Xerxes in close attention. It's quite scrappy at times, isn't it, Troy? You've got players getting the ball caught underneath their feet, misplacing passes. It doesn't feel like either team have really got into their rhythm as yet, and Palace lose possession. Xerxes on the edge of the D, can't reverse ball into the path of Mbeumo, but they have got it back again with Mason Mount. Mount down the left-hand side of the penalty area with a good cross. Ahmed at the far post, beaten to it by Mitchell. The header only half away, and then in the end he's helped up by Gehi, who will scoop the ball into the sunshine and high towards the halfway line, 0-0.
Oh, really poor again from Xerxes. I'm not saying, I've been retired 2 years. Man United, give me 6 weeks and a third of what he's doing, and I promise you I can do better. It is embarrassing watching him play at this moment in time. He just looks a lost soul, an absolute lost soul.
Not scored in the Premier League since December 2024, Xerxes. And they haven't really got much in the way of options off the bench, Manchester United. Forward by Gehi up the middle, and Luke Shaw is there covering in front of Sarr. Back to Lamens. The Manchester United bench. Altai Bayindir is the substitute goalkeeper as United lose the ball on the left-hand side. Munoz raining forward with a great cross, only half away. Pino! Brilliant block by Lenny Yoro. And Manchester United deal with it just about. Lamens flapped at the cross from Munoz, and now Manchester United can maybe counter. Bruno Fernandes over the halfway line, header away by Gehi on the cover.
Oh, it's all Palace. Man United is brilliant as well. Just being in this vantage point, the arms are going now. Fernandes just played a pass, didn't make it, unfortunately. Just a little bit undercooked. His arms are waving. It's Mbeumo's fault. 2 minutes ago, Ahmad lost the ball. It was somebody else's fault. The arms are going already. And for a team that's lost one game in the last 6, their frailties are just there for all to see.
High diagonal ball up towards Diogo Dalot. No offside. The assistant keeps his flag down. Corner given.
Well, the Palace fans should know he can't see a foul throw right on his nose. He's not going to be able to see that offside. That was a good 2 yards off there, wasn't it?
Well, not spotted by the assistant on the near side. Dalot on the opposite side of the field, and it was headed behind by Lacroix for a corner. The rest of the Manchester United subs, Altai in goal, Mazraoui, Martinez, Malacia, Dorgu, Ugarte, Heaven, Kobe Mainu, and youngster Shea Lacey, who is very highly rated at the club.
Yeah, it's not a great bench though, is it, for a Man United team that we've become accustomed to, and just shows the problems that they're facing as a club this moment in time.
Bruno Fernandes with the corner, right-footed in, swinging, punched away by Henderson. It'll drop towards the edge of the penalty area. There was a foul by Mason Mount, spotted this time by the referee Rob Jones, and a free kick to Crystal Palace on the edge of their own penalty area. 28 minutes gone. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0, live and exclusive on TalkSport with Game Day Live. Don't forget to come from 2 o'clock. So if you want Premier League goals as they go in from all of the matches today, including Chelsea Arsenal at 4:30, then stick with us on TalkSport. It's Great programme, Sam and the team going around the grounds, very fast-paced, and you won't miss a kick of the Premier League football as there are boos for the assistant referee, Troy.
Yeah, they're letting him know that he's maybe got that one wrong there. But I'm pretty sure, for anyone who's listening, if you stay on afterwards, FA Sam will explain to you why it's not their fault anyway.
He studies these decisions, doesn't he, Sam? And
it's got a wonderful podcast if you need something to get you to sleep as well. Him talking about all the referee decisions all weekend. He's really good. Put it on about 10 past 10 at night. You'll be asleep by 10:12.
Well, I should say, for a bit of balance, Sam with Chris Foy, and it's called Men in Black, the podcast. And it is available wherever you get your podcasts. Here goes Kamada up the middle for Crystal Palace, pokes it towards Mateta when intercepted by De Ligt. Now here come Manchester United. Mount looking to drive up the middle. Adam Wharton quickly across to snuff out that attack. They don't look like scoring, Manchester United, unless realistically it's from a set play at the moment. A couple of the corners from Bruno Fernandes have been good, but that aside, it's comfortable for Palace as Pino nudges the ball straight out of play. Let me just give you the latest odds, because it's 0-0. You can head to Betfair, our official betting partner on TalkSport of our Premier League coverage. Right now, Palace at 6-5, United to win at 5-2, the draw 9-4. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing in a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair, 18 plus, and do pay a visit to gambleaware.org. We've had half an hour.
Just going back to that Mason Mount moment there, he turns the ball over, he's got his 2v1 against him, goes past the first one, he's looking at Xerxes saying, go on then, give me an angle, run for me. And Xerxes just stood there watching him, and it just allows, again, broken record, but it just allows Palace defenders to just come forward, because there's no threat in behind whatsoever.
Well, Palace have won it back again. Lacroix to Richards. Celtic lead 2-0 at Hibs in the Scottish Premiership, so Celtic closing the gap on leaders' Hearts to 2 points as it stands, and Celtic will have a game in hand. Of course, this is Martin O'Neill's final farewell, if you like, at the end of his interim spell in charge. TalkSport's very own Martin O'Neill. Free kick on the halfway line to Manchester United. It's been quite a low quality game, I have to say, must admit, in the first half an hour. Not seen a great deal of clear-cut chances. Casemiro with a couple for Manchester United. Mateta really should have scored for Crystal Palace. And talking of low quality, De Ligt has just belted the ball up the middle. It's nowhere near Ahmad making his infield run and through to the goalkeeper. He's had a year in charge, Ruben Amorim, and certainly this season we've seen patches of positivity for Manchester United, not least the win over Liverpool. Here they are with Mbeumo nodding it backwards from the edge of the D. Casemiro back to Shaw, square to Euro. This is a lot like what we saw against Everton on Monday night, Troy.
They just won the ball back 30 yards out. It's now with Lemons, the goalkeeper, four passes later. Someone's got to be brave. Someone's got to be willing to give the ball away. At this moment in time, Man United got the subtlety of a baby elephant. They just, whenever there's an opportunity to just click one in behind, it goes straight away through, and then they all go safe. It's as soon as someone gives the ball away, it's like the panic meter goes up.
It's just not happening for Manchester United. Easy header away by Gehi as they throw a hopeful ball high downfield towards Xerxes. And now Crystal Palace counter with Mateta. Mateta, left-hand edge of the penalty area with a left-footed ball in, and it's blocked at the near post by De Ligt. Still 0-0. Mateta heads for the dead ball line, then thinks better of it, goes back to Mitchell. Gehi square to Wharton. Wharton with a great reverse ball into Mateta, who turns Euro. That's got to be a penalty, and it is. Euro got the wrong side. Tackle from behind. Foul Jean-Philippe Mateta. Terrible defending from the Manchester United man, and the Frenchman concedes a penalty. Clear spot kick.
Again, it's really good though from Palace. Just runners without the ball. It looks like an unbelievable task for Wharton. It's not. It's because Mateta, as he gives the ball away, he just runs, and Wharton just plays a lovely ball inside, and I don't know why Lenny Yoro thinks he can get anywhere near that. It's an awful challenge. Not in terms of malicious and painful, but Mateta's away from him, he's turning, and then he gets him. He actually catches him with the back knee first, and then takes him out of his feet. It's awful. Big moment for Mateta, nothing short than what Palace deserve. Man United have been terrible.
Well, it's at the White Horse Lane end, which is packed with Crystal Palace fans. Jean-Philippe Mateta is going to place the ball down. He's holding on to it with one arm at the moment. having scored 3 of his 4 penalties so far this season. 8 goals in all competitions for Mateta, including a hat-trick here against Bournemouth in mid-October. And it's Mateta against Lammens here from 12 yards out. Mateta right-footed, and he rolls it casually beyond the goalkeeper, who dived the wrong way, and it's more misery for Manchester United at Selhurst Park. Mateta spot on. Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0.
It's great though, isn't it, from Mateta there? Nice penalty, goes the opposite way. And as you can hear, it's a party atmosphere in here very, very quickly. Again, Man United can have no complaints. Terrible from Yoro, big moment there, but Mateta walks up, gives the keeper the eyes, and it's not the greatest of penalties, but it goes in, and that's all that matters. 1-0 Palace.
Well, he looked very calm and casual there, didn't he? Mateta, he stroked it into the corner quite nonchalantly. It sort of bobbled in the end past Lammens, who went the wrong way, somewhat summing up the game in a sense, the way that penalty has ended up in the back of the net. But Oliver Glasner is delighted. And what's going on here on the near side touchline? The 4th official is holding up that electronic board. I don't think there's going to be a change imminently, but certainly there are Manchester United subs warming up, and there's a word for the 4th official from Gehi on the near side of the field, and Mateta as well.
They're looking at a possible double touch here on the penalty. I think he hits his standing foot. I think for people that remember, was it Julian Alvarez? Did it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
for
I think they're looking at the same thing right there.
And the referee is signalling, I think, here that he's going to have a look at the pitch side monitor.
Crystal Palace ball team touches the ball accidentally twice as the ball goes into the net. The final decision to retake the penalty.
So it's going to be retaken. Jean-Philippe Mateta.
That's not what happens, is it? Now we actually need Matterface, because I thought if you did a double touch, it ended up just being a free kick.
This is
that Man U should get the ball.
It's an accidental double touch. Mateta, as he strides forward, and the ball has come off his standing foot, nudged the edge of the ball off his.
So apparently the rules, Joe, are if he scores, it has to be retaken.
Yes.
But if he misses, then he just plays on. But some pressure now on Mateta.
So because it's ended up in the back of the net, that's why after this double touch, the penalty is going to be retaken. So it's back to 0-0. And how is Mateta feeling at the second time of asking? Hands on hips, it's a slightly curved short run up. Again he goes right footed, and he rolls the ball into the opposite corner this time, and the goalkeeper went the wrong way. Lammens this time dived to his right. Mateta tucks it away, and eventually, after all of that, it is Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0.
That's the one we wanted, and the celebrations start again. Wonderful penalty this time, really calm and composed, clean finish to the opposite side, sends the keeper the wrong way, and then you can hear the sounds now. It's a wonderful celebration that he's got in a day and age where everyone's pretty boring. It's a great celebration, and then the music to follow as well. Nothing short of what Palace deserved though, in total truth, and Man United probably thought they got away with one there. They need to be better, they've got to raise it.
Yep, they love playing the Wenger boys here at Selhurst Park.
I'm glad you knew what it was called. I was panicking there.
He's retaken it and he scored it. And to be clear, it was retaken because if there is a double touch and the ball ends up in the back of the net from the initial penalty, then you can retake it. And as Troy was saying, if you missed the penalty, then it would have been given back to Manchester United. So that's why it was retaken, and it's 1-0 to Crystal Palace in a game where I personally feel even Palace haven't played that well. Mateta up the middle, he's taking on both central defenders, and he's laid it out to the left, and Pino with his back to goal loses the ball. Ahmad made the challenge, and then Pino caught him late. Free kick to Manchester United. Is that fair though, Troy, as Eddie Nketiah gets ready to come on? So perhaps there is an injury issue for Sarr. Yes, we saw that earlier on in the game. and Sarri's going to come off here. Manchester United want to play on, but the referee is certainly going to stop it. And here comes the hero of the victory against Liverpool here, Eddie Nketiah for Ismaila Sarr. That his only Premier League goal of the season. Nketiah, that injury time winner against Liverpool in late September. So Sarr comes off and Nketiah comes on. 1-0 to Crystal Palace on TalkSport. Troy Deeney.
Yeah, just seeing him talking to Oliver Glasner there. I think it's that the after effects from the ankle roll earlier with the tackle with Dalot. He's tried to play on, unfortunately he can't. But I just thought that last part there was a perfect encapsulation of this game. Man United lose the ball again, turning it over cheaply. And as soon as Palace get the ball, they just give a nice straightforward pass into Mateta. He's got Pino running off, he's got Mitchell running off. And it makes Man United back up. I don't understand how the Man United players themselves can't understand this and figure it out for themselves on the pitch. The only reason that Palace are causing us problems is because people are running without the ball. This Man United team, they keep the ball, they go left to right, always from the back three, goes to Shaw, to De Ligt, to Yoro, and there's no runners. And because there's no runners, it just allows Palace to press higher and higher up the pitch.
Xerxes trying to hold the ball up on the right corner of the penalty area, but he can't do so again. And Crystal Palace on the break now with runners flooding forward, just as Troy was saying. From right-hand side is Daniel Munoz, cuts the ball across the edge of the penalty area. Walton can't make anything of it this time. Flooding forward the blue and red striped shirts as Munoz delivers, headed away by Shaw. It'll drop down to the edge of the box and Mitchell. Palace lead it by a 0-0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like West Ham against Liverpool live today. Search Now Sports. And now it's a Manchester United counter from the other end of the field to the Holmesdale Road end, but Ahmad has slowed it down again. Check back to find Mbeumo, and Mbeumo suddenly surges up the right and he wins a throw off Maxence Lacroix. But United do not look like scoring the equaliser that they need.
No, and again you're going to have to start looking at their bench, and who do you bring on to change it?
There are not really any great options going forward for Manchester United.
I'm looking at Ahmad again. Everyone tells me he's quick, he's direct. He's just had an opportunity there to run and go 1v1 against Lacroix. He turns it down, he comes back and he keeps the ball.
A long throw by Dalot high into the penalty area. 5 minutes of the first half to go, and it's smuggled behind in the end by Richards for a corner to Manchester United. We'll have United's next Premier League game live and exclusive on TalkSport on Thursday evening. In fact, every Premier League game, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, live and exclusive on the TalkSport network. The best way to be across it is to download our app. It's free, easy to download, and then you can swipe between all the games as and when you need to. We've also got Crystal Palace's next game away at Burnley on the TalkSport app next Wednesday. So Manchester United, West Ham, live on Thursday night with us from Old Trafford. Bryan Mbeumo to take this Manchester United corner, left-footed and in, swinging into the near post, headed away by Mateta. It'll drop out to Bruno Fernandes, nudges it square to Ahmad. Ahmad's square ball back to the Manchester United captain, who drills in a high cross, punched away by Dean Henderson, hit by Dalot on the half volley, and he sliced that away from goal. Little flick by Xerxes back to Mbeumo, level with the edge of the penalty area. Now Bruno Fernandes delivers another good cross, headed away by Richards this time. Where's the cutting edge from Manchester United? It's certainly not there from the cross from Diogo Dalot. Dalot just doesn't look like he's got it going forward at all as Shaw wins the ball back on the halfway line.
For all those crosses though, it's hopeful, isn't it?
Yep. Just like on Monday night, Bruno Fernandes with a shot from range, and that is sliced behind. It's an ugly effort from Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United have got forward players who don't look comfortable in their respective positions. They've got a centre forward who can't get near the game, and Dean Henderson, the long and the short of it, has only had one save to make, and that was in the first minute, Troy Deeney.
Other than that, they've been fantastic.
We're very positive here about Manchester United.
They've got to be better. Again, it's fallen back into the old way of thinking. They're hopeful in forward areas. They're deliberate and slow and methodical in their build-up, and no one's really got the whereabouts to put their foot on the ball and go, right, we're gonna impact this game doing what I can do best. Speak to Ahmad, I speak to Bryan Mbeumo, Fernandes. They're not showcasing their best attributes, and a lot of it is finger pointed at somebody else. I'm looking at Ahmad just down below us on our left hand side. there's no real intention for him to run in behind. He wants it to feet, and then he wants to take on 10-15 people every time.
Header away by Munoz, retreating back on the cover from the wing-back position, and then Wharton slides in well to beat Bruno Fernandes to the 50-50. Munoz will clear into touch.
But we see the difference, and again, for the listener, when Palace go forward, everyone goes forward, whether that be Wharton, you name it. The first 5 that are nearest the ball, they all run forward. When Man United do it, they're looking at like who should go forward. They're going in 1s and 2s. You got Bruno Fernandes now dropping into that back 3. So now you've got a whole back 4 not impacting anybody on the ball, and everything is tight at its feet. And for Man U to score, again, I'll just give it away. But for Man U to score, it has to be perfect. And again, you can blame the system, you can blame the coach. I'm looking at these players go, does someone want to run in behind? Just once.
Doesn't feel like it.
Until that changes, I don't really care what system you've got to start running.
1-0 to Crystal Palace with 90 seconds of normal time to go in the first half. Lamons, all in bright yellow, will clear high downfield up to the centre circle. It's over the head of Xerxes, who has had a torrid time against the 3 Crystal Palace centre halves. And this time it's Gehi who nudges it away from him, and back to the goalkeeper Henderson again.
Yeah, he's had a tough start to his Man United career, not just today, has he, Xerxes? But again, I think his game, I think he wants to be, a good player, but it just doesn't seem to be working.
Xerxes with a decent reverse ball up the inside right to Mbeumo. Mbeumo's instinct is to check back, plays it square and infield to Casemiro, middle of the Crystal Palace half. Manchester United seeking equaliser, trailing as they do by a goal to nil. Out on the left is Diogo Dalot, rolls the ball forward down the left-hand touchline. Mason Mount from the dead ball line, pull back, didn't have enough weight on it, cleared away by Lacroix. Now De Ligt in the centre circle. United playing from left to right in the first half in this off-white change kit. Forward by Yoro, little flick by Xerxes, sliding in is Casemiro, and he's caught Wharton, and that'll be a free kick to Crystal Palace, who have the lead.
Again, though, the same, about sounding the same thing, no runners in behind. The only runner we've just had for the first time for Man United in behind was from Luke Shaw. He's played it out to Dalot, and he's ran past Mason Mount and Xerxes, trying to just impact that back line. And just looking at Bruno Fernandes again, the body language is starting, the moaning started. Who really is going to take hold of this game? Because it's not looking for tactical, intricate play now. It just needs people that are willing to be able to just run and do the unselfish work and not be thinking about themselves.
5 added minutes at the end of the first half. Yeremy Pino from the edge of the penalty area, could be through here. Great challenge by Luke Shaw. Shaw with a sliding challenge at the very last moment, and on his 300th Manchester United appearance, he stopped Palace from going 2-0 up. Then Yoro carries the ball far too far forward, and Palace win it back. Here they come with Mateta, nudges it wide left. Tyrick Mitchell has lots of space here to pull it back towards Mateta again. Intercepted by Casemiro, and it's cleared away. Kamada is still down here for Crystal Palace, but it's not a head injury, so Manchester United can play on. Nearly a minute through the 5 added at the end of the first half. 1-0 down here, United. And Mbeumo inside right, and Mbeumo with his left foot rolls the ball towards the edge of the penalty area, half intercepted on the slide by Nketiah, crossing by Bruno Fernandes is dealt with easily by Lacroix. Get the ball wide and cross it in. We saw nearly 40 crosses against Everton on Monday night.
Did we see one good one?
Didn't really feel like it. There were a couple of good saves from Jordan Pickford at Old Trafford. In fact, one brilliant save in the second half, but these high flighted balls in, they've got very little shape or width to them, and Crystal Palace are dealing with them quite easily. 90 seconds through the 5 added at the end of the first half.
Yeah, very hopeful. Again, Bruno Fernandes on his right hand side, got time, just hits the first man. There's no real quality, as you say, no real direction. Everything in the middle of the pitch for Man United is so deep. And again, look, everyone's coming to the ball here with Yoro. It needs Xerxes just to run in the space and identify it, but he keeps trying to occupy one in the middle. He just needs to run off the side and give him something different to think about.
Well, there is nothing particularly different about this Manchester United performance today. Bruno Fernandes has nudged the ball out to the left, and Dalot tries a 1-2. The 2 Portuguese players, and Dalot is away down the left-hand side. Clips in a high cross to the back post, headed away by Kamada. It was over the head of both Mbeumo and Xerxes, that delivery. Now Yeremy Pino, ball up over the halfway line, and De Ligt has slipped. Eddie Nketiah is clear on goal. The crowd are on their feet. Nketiah blocked off by Shaw. Nketiah was too slow. Shaw did well coming across nonetheless, but it really should be 2-0 to Crystal Palace, and now Manchester United come away with it with Casemiro.
He's got to do much better there, Eddie Nketiah.
Halfway through the 5 added at the end of the first half. 1-0 to Crystal Palace, and suddenly it's end-to-end. Dalot, square ball to Ahmad on the left-hand edge of the box. He's chipped the ball into the penalty area. Diogo Dalot chests it down, but then gives it away. And it's stabbed clear by Daniel Munoz for Crystal Palace. Well, Nketiah was almost a little languid going through the middle there, not at any great pace, and Shaw came across at the last moment. In some ways it doesn't even feel like Crystal Palace have played particularly well, but they are 1-0 up with 2 minutes of added time to go, and Mbeumo tries to tuck it through the middle towards Xerxes, and it's cleared away.
Yeah, it's got a bit scrappy this last minute and a half, but Eddie Nketiah, for me, just didn't have any confidence that he was going to score. Didn't even look like he was sprinting to the ball. I take your point that Palace haven't been great, but they should be 2 up. That was a massive moment there.
Well, Mateta had that big chance at 0-0, didn't he, as well, as Mason Mount's deflected cross loops up into the air, headed away by Kamada, further cleared by Munoz. It'll come back out to Luke Shaw on the far side, the left, infield to the number 8. Bruno Fernandes again with the red boots on. He whips a crossfield ball out to the near side, the right. Ahmad just manages to keep it in play. Didn't look like he was anticipating that. And Mbeumo is caught on the corner of the box by Pino, and that'll be a free kick to Manchester United in the last chance of the first half.
Do you think, and this happens a lot normally from an attacking point of view, but do you think Tyrick Mitchell's in Ahmad's head, in his head? Because he's not ran at him once. And you know that Tyrick Mitchell's a good one-on-one defender. He's obviously quick, but he's had the opportunity 4 or 5 times in his first half, faced him up, and instead of running at him and testing him, every time he's gone backwards. I just wonder whether there's a little bit of psychology in that Mitchell's had his number.
We haven't really seen Ahmad or Mbeumo take any defender on in a one-on-one, have we, so far? So it does make you think. Last few seconds of the first half, and it's Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0, live and exclusive on Talk Sport, your home of the Premier League, and all 10 midweek matches next week are live on the network with us. Bruno Fernandes with a dreadful free kick, and it's cleared away in the end by Mitchell at the second attempt. A really poor ball, left-footed towards the near post, and he's gone down, Bruno Fernandes, and the free kick is given for a foul by Pino. I think he's blown for half-time here, Rob Jones. He has done. Troy Deeney can't believe it. Bruno Fernandes goes down and is going to slowly get to his feet, gets an arm round the back from Pino, but really a dreadful first half from Manchester United, and what has been quite a poor game, a scrappy game at times. Crystal Palace should have been in front through Jean-Philippe Mateta early on, but he missed a glorious opportunity. Eventually he did give them the lead through a penalty spot, a poor challenge from Lenny Yoro on Mateta, and at the second attempt it had to be retaken after the initial attempt hit his standing foot and went into the back of the net. He got the opportunity from the retake, went the opposite corner, and the same result, sending Senna Laments the wrong way. United actually looked bright in the early stages. Casemiro could easily have scored inside the first minute, but other than that, same old, same problems a year in charge for Ruben Amorim, and it's Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0.
That's not nice.
He just had to get that in, didn't he?
He left the 2 out that we beat them, but it's all right.
It is 1-0 to Crystal Palace, and the game is resumed. Palace from left to right in the second half, all in the red and blue striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks, and Manchester United in this off-white away kit playing from right to left. The teams are just as they finished the first half, so Henderson in goal for Crystal Palace, Richards, Lacroix and Guehi, Munoz, Kamada, Wharton and Mitchell, Nketiah and Pino in support of Mateta. And for Manchester United, unchanged for the second half, Laments in goal, Shaw on the ball now in central defence with De Ligt and Yoro, who gave away the penalty that was tucked away at the second attempt by Jean-Philippe Mateta. The wing-backs are Dalot and Ahmad, with Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, the 2 in the middle, and Mbeumo and Mount in support of Xerxes. up front. Away on the right is Ahmad for Manchester United in front of the away supporters in the bright sunshine. The inside right channel back to Casemiro with a low shot running onto it from about 25 yards, and that's gathered easily by Henderson, who is sporting a cap for this second half because the sun is quite low in the goalkeeper's eyes. He's belted it upfield to Mateta, who wins it unchallenged for Crystal Palace, and now Wharton from the halfway line. Little flick from Pino out to the left hand side where Tyrick Mitchell is standing. Crystal Palace keep relatively comfortable possession here midway into the Manchester United half, and then Kamada, just as I say that, has poked it straight out of play. Goal kick, 1-0 to Crystal Palace. It could be more than just 1-0, and here's Troy Deeney.
Yeah, I think we haven't really spoke about it, but it's a feeling you get, isn't it, with Palace? When they go forward, you feel that there's an intensity, there's an intention that they're trying to score. When Man United go forward, it feels like maybe, hopeful, if everything's right they'll score, maybe a mistake will happen. I just think, looking at it and trying to wonder what has been said by Amorim at half time that's really given a clear impetus. We've seen 2 long balls in now, at least making Palace face their own goal, but just that feeling you get when Palace are going forward is completely different to Man United.
It's all quite leaden-footed for Manchester United so far, but lots of intensity and energy about Crystal Palace. Lots of Palace fans still making their way back to their seats early in the second half here, live on TalkSport. Long throw for Manchester United, in by Diogo Dalot, headed away by Mateta at the near post, nodded back in by Luke Shaw, cleared away by Lacroix. Remember, Palace have won 3 of the last 4 in the Premier League. Ahmad goes all the way back to Lamens again, and it might be a simple thing, it might be one pass of the ball, but it just sums up the conservative approach of Manchester United to the way that they played this week. We saw it against Everton on Monday, and well, a week on and there's been no real improvement from Manchester United.
And that's the sad part about it, because as I'm watching this now with my coach's hat on, it seems to me that they've played like they've done all the training sessions against mannequins, and they sort of pass from here to here, it goes to here, this is the formation, this is what we do, the process. But it's now you stuck people in front of them that move and are in different places, and it's like, oh, now that didn't happen on Thursday when we trained. It just feels a little bit too concise for my liking.
The ball is with Kamada for Crystal Palace, midway inside his own half the field, across to Tyrick Mitchell. Mitchell will clip the ball high and long up to the edge of the centre circle, where it's headed away by De Ligt. The ball floated over the head of Mateta. The Manchester United subs are Altay, Mazraoui, Martinez, Malacia, Dorgu, Ugarte, Heaven, Mainu and Lacey. So really, you're looking at the youngster, albeit very impressive, Shea Lacey, and highly rated within the academy, hasn't made his Manchester United debut of yet, though he has recently trained with the England senior squad earlier on in the season. But for attacking intent, he'd be the player that you're looking at for Manchester United.
Yeah, more of a wide player though, isn't he, than a natural striker. So maybe he'd come in for like a Mason Mount, and but when you look at it, maybe it has to be Mount go through the middle and take Xerxes out.
Out on the right-hand side is Ahmad, right corner of the penalty area for Manchester United, and a sliced cross right into the side netting. He didn't seem under a great deal of pressure there, but it's got Oliver Glasner, the Crystal Palace boss, out of his technical area to scream instructions at his players. Clearly worried the Austrian manager enough. Glasner, whose contract expires at the end of the season, but again, no great quality in the delivery at all.
No, he just sliced it straight off the pitch there. But again, 1v1 against Mitchell. He's getting backed off into his own 18-yard box. Instead of going at him, just does the easy option and tries to cross it. Ends up being a terrible cross. But I've not been sold by Ahmad at this moment in time. But I don't care if he's out as a wing back or as a 10. But when you've got an opportunity to run at your opposition number, go and do it. That's your game. And it's like Mitchell's mentally in his head already.
Former Premier League striker Troy Deeney is with us from 2 o'clock on Game Day Live. We'll go around the grounds. Aston Villa against Wolves, Forest against Brighton, West Ham against Liverpool, and at 4:30 Chelsea against Arsenal. All the goals as they go in with Sam Matterface and the team on TalkSport. You will not miss anything. And that is followed by the final word with Majestic and Alan Pardew, where you can have your say on the weekend's football. Long throw by Richards into the penalty area. Mateta tries to bundle it home from inside the 6-yard box. It's cleared away by Yoro. It'll drop out on towards the edge of the D, cleared away by Xerxes for Manchester United, then sliding in is Munoz to win it back off Ahmad, and then Xerxes commits a clumsy foul on Wharton just in front of the edge of the centre circle, and it's a free kick to Crystal Palace, who lead 1-0.
That's a perfect encapsulation. If I'm Ruben Amorim now, I'm asking our analyst team to clip that up. They just break on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's 2v2. Ahmad, all he has to do is just pass the ball to Brian Mbeumo and his 1v1. Instead, he tries to nick it around Munoz, who ends up getting the tackle in, and then Palace win the ball back. But if he's just unselfish enough to go, bang, there you go, you have it, they're 1v1, and he's going in on goal against Henderson. It's just so selfish at the moment.
Free kick is dinked into the penalty area by Pino, headed away from the right corner of the penalty area by Casemiro, drops back to Pino on the edge of the D, but there was already a foul in there, spotted by Rob Jones, the referee, and he's allowed Manchester United to take the free kick quickly. I think there was a little bit of confusion there. Xerxes looked early for Dallo on the halfway line. Crystal Palace get it away. The rest of the Palace bench, we had Nketiah replace Sarr in the first half, Benitez the goalkeeper, Lerma, Uche, Klein, Hughes, Essa, Convo and Devaney. And that's a late challenge coming in by Nketiah, flying in on Diogo Dallo, and he catches him, and I think he's going to get a yellow card. He does.
Yeah, no gripes there for Eddie Nketiah. Really just trying to get in close. It looks worse than it is, but I think his planted foot just slides on the turf and he ends up catching him, but a yellow card.
Well, here comes Mazraoui for Manchester United, so there will be changes very shortly made by Ruben Amorim, just 7.5 minutes into the second half. With United a goal down, they've only won one of their last 11 Premier League away games, and that ironically was at Liverpool, of course, in mid-October. Bruno Fernandes will chip the free kick into the box towards Xerxes. Xerxes left on edge of the area. The angle is tight, but he squeezed it in! What a finish from Joshua Xerxes! Almost out of nothing, and the much maligned forward has got Manchester United level. His first goal in the Premier League for nearly a year, and relief for Ruben Amorim. It's Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 1. Impossible angle for Xerxes, but he made it happen.
How? That's all I can say. How? I mean, we've been killing him all day. It's a wonderful run. It's a well-worked free kick. It's something they've worked on a training pitch. Lovely ball in from Fernandes into the edge of the 18-yard box, and he has got no right to score where he is. He's in line with the 6-yard box, pivots, hits it on the left foot, going away from goal. I'm questioning the keeper a little bit here, but it's a wonderful finish from Xerxes. He should score. He shouldn't score, sorry, but he has scored. Henderson got to look at himself. It's a wonderful finish from Xerxes. We've given him grief, and rightly so, I would say.
Yep.
But I feel like that's just a massive moment in his career as well, because that is a wonderful, wonderful finish.
First Premier League goal since December of 2024. And Manchester United have replaced Yoro with Mazraoui. So they carry on with the substitution, even though they get the equaliser. Of course, it was a plan that Mazraoui would come on regardless. 1-1 the score then, and it's game on TalkSport. We've got Manchester United's next game, remember, coming up for you next Thursday at home to West Ham on TalkSport. Indeed, every Premier League game in the middle of next week. There are 10 of them on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and they're all live with us across the network. Make sure you download our app, and then you can swipe between all the games as and when you need to. But maybe that will give, that equalise from Xerxes, will give Manchester United some much needed impetus. The only thing that maybe you'd look at from a Crystal Palace perspective is, should the goalkeeper save it?
He has to save it. I think it catches him by surprise. I think we was all looking at where where Xerxes was going. It looked like he would have to hook it back in for a cross. Instead, he just hooks it and lashes at it. It's a wonderful finish. I would love to know what goes into managers' minds, though. What's changed in 7 minutes from being in at half time to bringing Mazraoui on? Because Lenny Yoro hasn't had a kick at the ball. Nothing's come down his side, but the change has been made anyway.
You wonder if it was a pre-planned substitution of some kind, as Crystal Palace pumped the ball high on the diagonal into the penalty area. It's going to elude Munoz at the far post and go behind for a goal kick to Manchester United away to our right hand side, and suddenly it feels quite subdued at Selhurst, save for the Palace ultras behind the goal to the right hand side. But it's 1-1 courtesy of what you have to say, given the angle and the tightness of the angle, was quite a spectacular finish from Xerxes.
It's an unbelievable finish. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted because you couldn't see that.
It never looked on, did it? Not for one moment. But Xerxes somehow found the angle. Here come Crystal Palace at the other end with Nketiah to Pino. Little back heel into the path of Nketiah, who took it off the toes of Tyrick Mitchell, though he was under pressure from Mazraoui as he made the run down the inside left. And Nketiah again jinks away from one and then two, and then tries the curling shot from 25 yards. It's blocked. Manchester United can counter. Lacroix wins it back on halfway in front of Brian and Burmo, and then there's a foul on Nketiah 10 yards into the Manchester United half, and a Crystal Palace free kick.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit scrappy again now, isn't it? But I do just want to go back to that Xerxes moment. It's not even the fact that he scored the goal. It's the fact he's shown you nothing in this game so far that A, he would even get a shot off, but B, that he even had that level of self-assuredness to even take the shot. So
confidence, yeah.
The confidence of it is frightening.
This is just his second Premier League start since April. Started on Monday night against Everton. 1-1 the score on TalkSport. Nearly an hour played at Selhurst Park. Pino will chip the free kick into the area. Munoz is onside, a free header back across, and it's turned just wide from inside the penalty area. Nketiah was lurking. Has it hit Xerxes and gone behind? I think it has. It's a corner to Crystal Palace.
What has gone on there? No, yeah, so as it's been headed back across, again though, Casemiro just dropping down to the ground, thinking he should get a foul because he plays for Man United. He's never a foul. Munoz heads it back across, wonderful area. As Mazraoui clears it, just hits Xerxes straight in the chest, and that would have subbed his day up if it had went in, by the way. Just went wide of the right post.
He has equalised, and it stayed out, and it's 1-1. It's a corner to Manchester United away to our right-hand side, and it's whipped in dangerously towards Richards on the edge of the 6-yard box. Well dealt with inside the penalty area by Luke Shaw. Scoop back in by Wharton, only as far as Richards on the edge of the penalty area. Wharton nods it back towards the edge of the box. Manchester United defending with plenty behind the ball here. Bruno Fernandes gets a nick on it, and there's an offside up against Munoz on the near side of the field. We were very close to that. We're halfway inside the half to the right in the back of the main stand, and Manchester United get a free kick. 1-1 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Chelsea against Arsenal live today. Just search Now Sports. Shaw carries the ball forward for Manchester United. Away down the inside left, he's flicked it further wide towards Dorgu, but Munoz is there on the cover. Back to Henderson, who's got rid of his cap now with the sun having gone in for a bit, and the ball is on the halfway line and back with Manchester United. Can Manchester United seize the moment here? Away from home they've found that difficult to do, but can they turn this one around at a ground where they certainly don't enjoy playing, certainly haven't done in recent years? Away on the cover by Maxence Lacroix, out of play for a Manchester United throw. Ruben Amorim is just outside his technical area, issuing instructions, but they do seem to be playing the ball with a bit of a greater zip, but just as I say that, De Ligt from halfway has hammered it out of play for a goal kick. Yeah,
this, as I said earlier, the subtlety of a baby elephant there. He just tried to wrap one into Xerxes and it's got out for a goal kick. Absolutely smashed it. Again, it's just a distinct lack of quality, but you can see Ruben Amorim has told his team when they've come out, well, I want more forward pass, I want more forward runs, and it's started to help a little bit. I think Palace have started the second half pretty much the same as they started the first 10 minutes have been very lacklustre. You need Man United now to continue it and get it moving forward, because it feels like it's in their the momentum's in their favour now, so they need to go and capitalise on this.
Hibs with a goal back against Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. Hibs 1, Celtic 2, but Celtic still set to close the gap on leaders' Hearts to 2 points, and Celtic would have a game in hand. As Lacroix stabs the ball forward from the halfway line, it's run back by Mitchell midway inside the Manchester United half. Then Nketiah onto the back of Casemiro. Mateta flooding forward. Mateta with the curling shot over the top. He had runners left, right and centre. Blue and red shirts darting towards the edge of the 18-yard box, but Mateta didn't use any of them.
It's not a foul again. Casemiro going down, thinking he deserves a foul because he put his body there. It's not a foul in my opinion. But again, him, Casemiro, Fernandes, finger pointing at each other. You did this, you should do that. It just creeps to the surface every single time, this bad attitude from Man United. Mateta really should do a little bit better in that shot there. But it's just become a scrappy, ugly game. Probably plays into Man United's hands, if we're being totally honest. But Xerxes looks miles better.
And now gone. Here come Manchester United with Dalot towards the edge of the penalty area. Fouled. Free kick to Manchester United. Left-hand edge of the box. And it is within shooting range for a right footer. Certainly Bruno Fernandes, I'm sure, will have a look at this as Dalot surged up the inside left channel. And Bruno Fernandes places the ball down, and this is an opportunity for Manchester United. He was caught by Gehi.
Yeah, it's a big moment. Fernandes hasn't been great today, has he? So based on what Xerxes done, he's probably going to put this in the top corner now.
Not scored Bruno Fernandes since scoring his 100th goal for Manchester United against Chelsea on the 20th of September in that bizarre game at Old Trafford, where Chelsea had their goalkeeper sent off early on. Henderson has put his cap back on now because the sun has returned, beating down onto the goal mouth, and well, it's Mount and Bruno Fernandes over this free kick. It's towards the left side of the penalty area, so there is certainly an angle there. 4, maybe 5 in the Crystal Palace wall. Mateta is talking to Henderson, and Manchester United aiming to turn this game around completely. 1-1 is the score. And it's teed up for Mason Mount, who picks up the bottom corner brilliantly. What a low strike from Mount underneath the wall, and he beat Henderson into the bottom left-hand corner. It's a wonderful strike from Mason Mount, curled into the corner, placed to perfection, and Manchester United have turned this game around, and for that you have to give them credit. Palace 1, Manchester United 2.
Wow. Again, I'm looking at Dean Henderson. They seem to take this before Henderson's even set, so I don't know if the referee already blew the whistle. Palace are complaining about this because they're taking it as Henderson's coming off the post. But as soon as he nudges it to the right-hand side, Mason Mount just whips it low and hard. It goes through the wall, which does do Dean Henderson a bit of a disjustice, but I still think Henderson should save that. It's not the greatest of strikes, but Man U won't care. 2-1 Man United, and I have no idea how they've scored 2 goals.
Well, there was a lot of praise. I mean, well, it's 2 shots and 2 goals, isn't it, really? But there was a lot of praise for Mason Mount from Ruben Amorim in the build-up to this game. Said that he trains well, he's intense, and can score goals. And that's exactly what he's done today for Manchester United. And they lead by 2-1. And he just angled that with great precision beyond Henderson into the corner nearest to us. Henderson maybe was unsighted by the wall, but Manchester United have turned it around, and it's 2-1. And so Crystal Palace, listless in this second half really, have got to wake up or this game could be beyond them quite quickly. 19 minutes into the second half. Stay with Talk Sport all day as Ahmad hits a left-footed curler over the top. We've got all the goals as they go in from the Premier League once we're done here at Selhurst. All of the 2:05 kickoffs and the 4:30 between Chelsea and Arsenal, and then you can have your say on the final word on Talk Sport. But how the atmosphere has changed. The Manchester United fans are jubilant now, and it's great for them. But when you look at Crystal Palace, Troy, and you look at Dean Henderson, will the England goalkeeper feel culpable maybe for both goals? He's under pressure again here, and Burmo in the area. Lacroix gets a foot in. Out comes Henderson against his old club to take up possession.
Well, you're talking about Palace and not really coming out and starting the second half. I totally agree. One thing I will say, the difference between Man United being 1-0 down and being up is frightening. They're passing it quicker, they've got so much more confidence. It's like, well, this is night and day between the first half and the second half. Really strange in terms of mentality and approach, because the second they've got this second goal, they're getting on the ball now, they're passing it, they're running more intently. It's like they have to be given a goal head start.
Well, is that a confidence thing, Troy? It has to be, doesn't it?
But the confidence comes from doing the work. They wasn't doing this work, and now all of a sudden they're ahead for a moment from Xerxes. It's like they all believe again. Like, a manager can't instill belief into you. That's got to come from you as a person.
Here is Kamada for Crystal Palace. Good ball into the penalty area. Pino from the angle, pulling it back across. He was onside, and then the flag eventually does go up on Yeremy Pino. so it wouldn't have counted for Crystal Palace anyway, and the Holmesdale Road end was on its feet, but now they all sort of sit back down as a collective. They go to Burnley next Wednesday, live on the TalkSport app, do Crystal Palace. Every Premier League match, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, live across the network, including Liverpool against Sunderland, Arsenal against Brentford, Newcastle against Tottenham, and on Thursday night we will follow Manchester United against West Ham at Old Trafford. Lamens has cleared the ball high upfield and it's bouncing down the middle towards them. Burmo, Mark Gehi is in the way. Not seen a great deal of Mateta in this second half. Remember, he missed a glorious chance at 0-0. You wonder how big a miss that could be, as well as the miss from Nketiah late in the first half when he was blocked off by Shaw.
Yeah, it's all about moments in games, isn't it? Obviously they had 4 big chances that Aid was alluded to at half-time where they really could have and probably should have been at least 2-0 up. But it's about moments in games, and Man United have had 2 moments in this second half. Neither deserved to score. I'm not an XG fan, but I'm pretty sure if you looked at it, they wouldn't be that high. And they shouldn't have any reason to score. They scored both. Again, I think Henderson could be looked at for both goals. But for Man United, they won't care. But it just looks night and day. I still don't have the real conviction, though, Joe, that there's going to be no more goals. It feels like there's more goals in this game.
Or that Manchester United are necessarily going to go on a blistering run or anything like that if they do win it. But they have turned it around, and in isolation, you have to give Manchester United some credit for that. 2-1. We've got a quarter of the game to go on TalkSport, and then it's Game Day Live taking you around the grounds. We are here on a blockbusting day of Premier League football. There's no better place to be to follow the Premier League. Forward by Pino, high on the diagonal from the free kick, deep to the back post, headed across by Richards, and Burmo gets there first in front of Wharton, and then Kamada is blocked off by Mazraoui, who will chip it away for Manchester United. Not very far. It's back out on the Palace left. Kamada hugging the touchline. Infield now to a central area. Mitchell all the way back to his goalkeeper. Slight lack of urgency at times from Crystal Palace in this second half. Long from Henderson, thundered up the middle, flick on by Richards and away by De Ligt on the volley. It'll drop down now to Mark Gehi to clip it in. Eddie Nketiah with the header, and it's going to drift wide from about 12 yards out. Not an easy header. Nketiah got to it, but glances it wide of the far post. And actually, Senna Lamens has not had a save to make in this second half. 2-1 to Manchester United.
And weirdly now, Palace have become the team that are hopeful. A lot of long balls, a lot of second balls that they're trying to play for. No real distinction. I think that Ismail Assar coming off has really thrown them as well, with having that natural outlet of someone running without the ball. And it's become a game that suits Man United now. Everyone's in front, and long hopeful balls up to Mateta with De Ligt, within 2 yards of him every single time.
Well, if they do win, Manchester United, they will leapfrog Crystal Palace and move further up the table. They are 3 points off 5th position. Aston Villa in the way, and of course Villa play Wolves this afternoon, with all the goals as they go in from Villa Park on TalkSport later. They'd be level on points with 5th position Manchester United, but they'd need a really big win to go above Villa, and that doesn't look likely to happen. 20 minutes to go, and you wonder whether Crystal Palace need to make a change at this point. It doesn't really seem to be dropping for them. Here is Gehi for Crystal Palace, midway inside his own half of the field. Gehi with a long high ball, right-footed, bounces on the edge of the United box, and out comes Lamens, all in yellow, to come and collect. Not done a lot wrong, Senna Lamens, since becoming Manchester United's clear number 1 now, with Andre Onana out on loan and Altay Bayindir very much a second choice. Headed by Ahmad on the halfway line, jumps to try and find Burmo, and Burmo with a foul in the back of Gehi. It looks a little bit harsh, that there wasn't a great deal of contact from Burmo on Mark Gehi. Crystal Palace now with Wharton out to the left-hand side, and it's Lacroix, edge of his own box, square ball to Richards. Richards now to the wing-back position. Munoz looks for Wharton, and Manchester United win it back. Great desire and tenacity from Bruno Fernandes, and it's out of play for a throw, and that typifies what you've been saying, Troy Deeney, about Manchester United.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen the Man United press with real intent and some intention to actually try and win the ball back. They go hard there. They set the traps in the final third. And it's Bruno Fernandes who goes and does it. I don't think we've mentioned that all day today, but again, what are we now? 70 minutes in, it's completely different, this Man United, to the Man United of the first hour.
Haven't won here since July 2020 when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in charge. Away on the far side, the right, is Ahmad for Manchester United. Now Casemiro's on the halfway line. A third goal for United would put it beyond Crystal Palace here, you'd think. 19 minutes to go. Dalot wriggles his way beyond Richards, and he's tripped on the edge of the box. Oh, Dalot, the referee must be suggesting that he's dived. He hasn't booked Diogo Dalot, but it's certainly not a foul in favour of Manchester United.
Well, then you have to book him then. You have to book him. He's done a wonderful little chop on Richard, and Richard just dangles his leg out behind him. It's a foul all day. But if you're not gonna give the foul, you've got to book him for diving. And I don't know what the ref's seen there, but now he's just booked Luke Shaw for a yellow card.
Yeah, Shaw booked, and Dalot has not been yellow carded, but the referee here is just making Crystal Palace wait to take the free kick. They wanted to take it quickly. So Shaw yellow carded. Manchester United lead by 2-1. This is Talk Sport. Crystal Palace, who haven't lost at home in the Premier League since February the 15th. At home to Everton it was. It's been months. This has been a real fortress for them. It's a measure for Manchester United of how important a win this could be. Header away by Mazraoui from inside his own box. We've got 17 and a half minutes to go. There's a throw now to Manchester United away on the far side, the right. Ruben Amorim takes a water bottle on the near side of the field. He's pacing up and down in his technical area, is Amorim. Looking for just his 13th Premier League victory in charge of Manchester United. Gehi has headed the ball straight out of play for Crystal Palace. Well, it is amazing the difference between the Manchester United of 2-1 up and the Manchester United of 1-0 down, or even 0-0, Troy Deeney.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a 10-minute spell where they've been fantastic, but again, it's nothing, no rocket science, nothing weird and wonderful, no tactical things. Just play forward and run forward. The basics of football, and they're doing that in the second half, Joe, and it's much better, much more pleasing on the eye, and it's making Palace have to defend, something they never did for nearly 50 minutes of this game. They were just always coming forward.
So they are leading 2-1, Manchester United. The latest odds are with Betfair, TalkSport's official Premier League betting partner, and Palace to win 16-1, United to win 11-4 on, and the draw at 3-1. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing in a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair, 18+, gambleaware.org. Away on the right for Manchester United is the diminutive Ahmad in front of 2,000 away fans. He's popped it back in field. Mazraoui surely fouled, wrestled to the ground on that far side by Gehi, and that is a yellow card for the man who is wanted by Liverpool.
Much better from Mazraoui. Goes and helps out. Not only gives Ahmad the ball, but then he's there moving again and lets the ball roll across his body. Gehi just makes a cheap foul because he knows, unfortunately, he's getting away from him. I just think when you look at it now from a refereeing standpoint, we spoke about it in the first half, and Mbeumo gets it for banging the ball on the floor. We've had 3 yellow cards in this half based off just niggly little fouls. The big tackles from Kamada and Casemiro, he let go. The inconsistency is strange,
isn't it?
It's frightening.
Well, it will be debated, I'm sure, as Manchester United prepare to take the free kick, right corner of the 18-yard box. Bruno Fernandes only a yard or so from the corner of the penalty area. Bruno Fernandes whips it in right-footed. It takes a big deflection, loops up into the air. De Ligt goes up, cleared by Mateta, only as far as Diogo Dalot, who hits it over the top on the half volley from the edge of the D. That never looked likely to trouble Dean Henderson, but Crystal Palace need a response from somewhere here. They've got 15 minutes left to find an equaliser.
Yeah, the difference with Palace is they've got a little bit more on the bench, haven't they? A few more impact players that can come on. They've got Devaney, they've got Esse, they've got Will Hughes, and they've got Lerma, who can come in and add a little bit more flair in there as well, and also Uche as well. He's not a bad striker, the Nigerian boy. So they've got pace, they've got things they can do differently. I just think for Man United, seeing through this next 5 minutes or so, and just managing the game then for the final 10. But maybe Ugarte and Kobe Mainoo come in to add a bit more legs into the middle of the park. But all in all, this will be a Man United away win that you're really happy with, but not one that you can take many away from the performance.
Here is Bruno Fernandes on the halfway line, a deflection on the diagonal ball upfield. He's struggling, and it's dropped here for Xerxes and Mbeumo. They're getting each other's way, and Mbeumo now cuts onto his right foot, and the low shot is straight at Henderson. There seemed to be a lack of communication there between the two. There must have been a shout in there somewhere. In the end, Mbeumo with the shot that was saved, but it could have been so much more for Manchester United, Troy.
Yeah, Xerxes now going and counter-pressing, just gets in the way of Bryan Mbeumo there, but I actually think, I know he does a wonderful chop there, and he gets his shot off 12 yards out. I think he could just slide Ahmad to the right, and Ahmad has got a tap in. Again, as all strikers, you want to score in those moments.
Mateta hustle and bustle through the middle. He's all over the back of Mazraoui. Manchester United win it through Casemiro, and they get the free kick anyway. As you can probably tell from the screams of annoyance from the Crystal Palace fans who are packed around us here in this main stand. They're only a few feet from us, and they're not happy with the referee, but they are going to see their team make a couple of changes. And here comes the aforementioned Uche, and Will Hughes is just behind it. Had very little Premier League football, Uche, and I think it's going to be Pino and first of all Wharton to lead the field, Troy.
Yeah, Will Hughes coming in, and I thought Eddie Nketiah was coming off there. Sorry, he just come to get some instructions. It's Pino who's coming off. Uche, who's Nigerian boy, 22 years old. Very quick, very direct in his approach, so maybe he adds a little bit more like Sarr in his game. But I would say as well, Mazraoui, the substitution for Amorim to bring in Mazraoui on, we questioned the timing of it. It's been exceptional since he's come on and added a little bit more for Man United, both defensively and attackingly.
Christantas Uche not played a lot of Premier League football, not played a lot of football for Crystal Palace, full stop, but there is certainly confidence that he can turn this slow start to the season into a positive one. And Crystal Palace, how they could do with a goal here. 2-1 down to Manchester United with 12 minutes to go on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. Game Day Live with Sam Matterface and the team follows us as we go around the grounds in the Premier League. Then next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all of the Premier League matches, all 10, are live with us on TalkSport, TalkSport 2, and the TalkSport app. More live football the following weekend as well. We've got all the big matches for you in the Premier League and the Championship. Mazraoui is in the right back position for Manchester United. He clears upfield. It's with Gehi now, tracking back into his own half, facing his own goal momentarily. Now it's up towards Mateta on the halfway line. Mateta turns to Ligt, looks for Nketiah, can't squeeze it into his path. Then Uche is going to go in for a 50-50, beaten to it by Mason Mount. Kamada loses it on the halfway line, and there was a legginess about Crystal Palace there for a moment. Here come Manchester United. Ahmad shuffles infield from the right, forward to Casemiro on the edge of the centre circle, and Manchester United slow the game down.
Literally to a stop where Fernandes is stopping and waiting. This is good though for Man United now, taking the sting out of the game, not getting caught in a basketball match. It's not a, you attack, we attack. They need to be more consistent. But again, goes into De Ligt, and I know he's a proper defender. But on the ball, he's an absolute liability for Man United. Just gives it away again. And just saying about how good it is for Man United, it's just becoming a bit of a problem.
Dallo has won the ball on the halfway line, and he's reached the midway point of the Crystal Palace half. Angles it out left to Mbeumo. Mbeumo with an early cross. Xerxes trying to get to it, punched away by Henderson, flying through the air there, the goalkeeper. Mazraoui's kept it in away on the right in front of the travelling fans, and Eddie Nketiah, the former Arsenal man, slides in. And it's a throw to Manchester United. Is it me, Troy? But to put it simply, United even seem to be running harder and with more intensity since they got back into it.
Well, But for people of a certain age, it's like they've been space jabbed in the first half. It's like they touched the basketball, lost all their powers, and in the second half they just come so much more better, so much more complete, mentally focused, and as you say, running harder, but nothing weird and wonderful. Just doing what you would expect a professional team to do, and unfortunately Palace just haven't been able to live with that in the second half, and Man U look miles better for it. This is what we would expect with them having no Europe and a week to just get their players ready for every game now. You would expect these level of performances. The second half, not the first half. The first half was like they played Thursday night and not Palace.
Lisandro Martinez stripped and ready to go for Manchester United, all in white down below us. Here goes Brian Mbeumo away on the right hand side, back to Bruno Fernandes, corner of the penalty area, delivers the cross. Dalot went up, headed away by Richards, drops to Mason Mount, left footed, and that flies up into the air off the boot of Lacroix. It's a corner to Manchester United with just over 8 minutes to go, and United at the moment look fairly assured of victory as they prepare to bring on Martinez for Luke Shaw, and this is significant for Manchester United. He hasn't played for nearly 10 months, Lisandro Martinez, since going off injured at Old Trafford against Crystal Palace with what was a cruciate ligament injury.
Yeah, it's great to see him back as well. You don't normally see people come back as quickly as he's done. 10 months is a long time, but normally a year when you talk about cruciate. Clearly done the work, and the best part about it, look at him smiling as he comes back on the pitch.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. We love this game, and he definitely loves this game, but when it gets taken away from you just appreciate it a little bit more when you come back from injury. So great for him and great for Man United.
He trots on the Argentine, great applause, a big roar from the Manchester United fans. Corner to Manchester United. Lisandro Martinez is the deepest player, the player furthest back for Manchester United as Fernandes sends it deep to the link to the back post with a header across, and the referee spotted something, perhaps a foul in there. It'll be a free kick to Crystal Palace nonetheless. De Ligt, who scored away from home in London at Tottenham a few games ago.
There's a little foul there just on Dean Henderson by De Ligt as he tries to come out. Instead of just blocking him, he just runs into him, and it just ends up being a little bit of a cheap foul.
2-1 down, Crystal Palace here. And no sign of a response as yet. Great feet from Xerxes, weaving footwork to find Mount, and a crossfield ball high left to right is headed away by Tyrick Mitchell, and Xerxes somewhat epitomises the Manchester United turnaround here. His confidence levels look to suddenly have become so much higher than they were earlier on today.
He looks a different man, doesn't he? His link-up play now, he's excellent. He's running in behind. He weirdly looks fitter the more the game has gone on, but I don't know what happened. Maybe that goal, that moment has just freed him mentally and taken the shackles off, but great to see him playing and showing some signs of potential.
The ball is with Dalot, who nudges it out of play with the outside of his foot. There are 6.5 minutes to go plus added time here on Talk Sport, and Crystal Palace, I think, readying a double change very shortly. Justin Devenny is one of those who is going to come on. They've given it away though to Mazraoui. Forward to Mbeumo up the inside right channel to the corner of the penalty area now. Mbeumo all left foot with a curler, and it's narrowly over the top. Henderson was statuesque there, and he wasn't too far away from scoring, it didn't look like.
No, again, it's poor from Mark Gahey turning the ball over. Brian Mbeumo cuts it on his left foot, and he just gets a shot off, and it just unfortunately goes over the crossbar on that left hand side. Palace get a little bit desperate now, aren't they? A little bit stretched, which is normally what we'd see from a Man United team, if we're being totally honest. But hopefully now these changes, it looks like they're going to have a little bit of a formation change as well, with Kamada coming off and now Mitchell coming off for Devaney, who's more of a winger. So are they going they go 3-4-3, but with Devaney as like a winger and just free through the middle now. So there's going to be a lot more direct long balls I'd see from Palace, as opposed to trying to build up like they normally do.
Almost lopsided, isn't it, with Devaney pushing very high up the left hand side. Devaney and Lerma onto the field for Crystal Palace.
Don't be surprised if Man U pick them off though and get a third to seal this now. Palace giving it everything to get back in the game.
Yeah, that's the way the game is set for the final 5 minutes. Devaney with an early cross that is completely mishit. How's that for a first couple of touches? That sails into the Holmesdale Road end. During Game Day Live on Talk Sport, you will hear from Ruben Amorim and Oliver Glasner. Steve Parish watching on in frustration from the director's box for Crystal Palace. They've had a great Premier League season so far, though I get the sense Oliver Glasner thinks they could have picked up even more points, and certainly in Europe he's been frustrated with their lack of finishing, and again finishing in the first half. You don't want to keep coming back to it, but Mateta and Nketiah could have put the game beyond Manchester United at half-time. They didn't, and United, in fairness, with the, you wouldn't even call them half chances, Troy, have turned it around.
No, again, it takes a much smarter person than me to break down the XG, but XG for Palace is 1.86. They've got 1 goal. Man U is 1.25 and they've got 2, which to me just shows that XG doesn't mean anything. But there'll be someone somewhere, Sam Matterface, who can explain what that actually means and to why it is what it is. But I think for Palace, they've just got to be a little bit more cute now. I know they've got a load of big players on, but need to work some areas, and instead of just launching the ball forward, I feel with Man United it's got to be set pieces, but it's got to be worked set pieces, not hopeful balls into the box. I feel like with De Ligt and some of the players that they've got back there, they love to go and head it.
Well, thankfully for Sam, he's got 4.5 hours to come back to you
and explain it
on Game Day Live very shortly. Free kick to Crystal Palace, near side the right. Hughes a yard or so infield from the near side touchline. Manchester United leading 2-1, but they brought everybody back to defend this. Hughes left-footed and in swinging, not a good delivery, headed away by Xerxes. Munoz a long way from goal. He's going to have to chip that high towards the right corner of the area, nodded across by Hughes and cleared away up into the air by Casemiro. Manchester United have got 3 minutes to hold out for here, plus added time. And Nketiah coming back from an offside position. The flag is up. Lacroix didn't spot it initially, but now he has. Free kick to Manchester United. How disappointed, Troy, is Oliver Glasner going to be if Palace end up losing this game?
Yeah, he will be. Again, not to make it about individuals, but I think he'd be certainly showing Mateta now some clips of the last 3 or 4 games missing huge opportunities. And yes, he scored today, but you've got to have those moments. You've got to kill the game off. This is the Premier League, and where they're trying to get to is European football. You don't have that sense of killer instinct within this Palace team, and that's something that will be a worry for him moving forward. You can't keep having huge 1v1s and missing them. Not only you can put up with the keeper saving it, you can't put up with you keep missing the target, and that's back-to-back weeks he's done that now. Again, last week got away with it because he was against a very poor Wolves team. This week you're up against the Man United team. For as poor as they've been, they've still got quality, and they've shown that in moments.
Made his senior debut for France in October, did Mateta. He's got 2 goals in 3 caps for France, but should have had more than his 9 goals this season for Crystal Palace in all competitions. It's 2-1 to Manchester United. 90 seconds of normal time remain. Lerma going backwards on the halfway line, the number 8, and the Palace fans not happy about that. We're hearing they'll only get 4 added minutes at the end to try and find an equaliser live on Talk Sport. Munoz, Uche back to Richards, and now Lerma to the centre circle and Lacroix. No great movement ahead of the Crystal Palace centre defenders. Richards has fed Hughes midway inside Manchester United territory. Munoz is playing like a winger now with Devaney on the opposite side. Uche to Munoz in the right corner of the penalty area. Back to Richards. Manchester United with everybody behind the ball. Can Palace pick a gap out here perhaps? Ooh. Hughes was caught by Bruno Fernandes. Advantage played. Not sure how much advantage there is really here for Crystal Palace. Devaney out on the left. Should that just have been a straightforward free kick? Yeah,
it should have been a free kick and a yellow card in my opinion, but again the referees made some strange decisions, and the only reason Palace won't moan is if they go and get a shot up from this, but that was 25-30 yards out. Would have been a much better moment than where they're at this moment in time.
Manchester United changes on the way. Kobbie Mainoo is stripped and ready to go. Will Hughes with a deflected cross for Crystal Palace. It's thundered up into the air by Lisandro Martinez. Doesn't travel very far at all. He sliced it, and then Bruno Fernandes misses his kick. Uche looked to play in Munoz in the box, but he couldn't do it. Cleared away by Martinez. Very scrappy passage of play. Oliver Glasner's out to the edge of his technical area to retrieve the loose ball. It was a lovely first time ball down the line, wasn't it? And it's a throw to Crystal Palace. 2-1 Manchester United. Here come Dorgu and Mainoo, and coming off is that? It's not going to be De Ligt, is it, for Manchester United? That would be a surprise.
No, I think he just put up the 4 minutes added time. I think is what he's just done.
You're correct. Here comes Ahmad.
That's why you don't pay me the big bucks.
That's why I definitely don't. Here we go with Mbermo for Mainu, and Ahmad replaced by Dorgu.
Substitutions for Manchester United.
We're into the 4 added minutes, and it's a long walk from Mbermo. Munoz is complaining to the referee. There'll be a long throw coming up here for Crystal Palace very shortly. Here comes Kobbie Mainoo. Can Manchester United hold out for the win, and how they need a victory, Troy?
Yeah, really good substitutions there. 4 minutes now for Mainoo and Dorgu. Personally think they were not the right changes, but we'll see.
In by Lerma, looping long from the long throw, flicked on by Richards. Devaney goes for it on the volley, as did Nketiah. 2 players got in each other's way. Should have been a communication there. It's knocked out wide to Lacroix. Lacroix's touch is very heavy down the right. It's out for a Manchester United throw in the left back position. I make it then, effectively, we've had half a minute of the 4 added, because a minute went by while Manchester United were making substitutions. They're 2-1 up on Talk Sport. Their next game against West Ham is on Thursday, and that is live with us. The following game, actually, away to Wolves on the Monday Night Football, is live on Talk Sport as well in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think those changes are brave ones from Amorim, because the likes of Ugarte would have been more, the obvious choice in my opinion. Dorgu not renowned for his defensive duties, neither is Mainoo as well. So a lot of balls coming in from long throws now. You need these guys to be really switched on, and he'll be hoping that they can do, obviously.
Lerma short to Munoz from the throw. Munoz crosses right-footed, headed away. Manchester United look to break. Dorgu is fouled, tripped by Lerma. That'll be a yellow card, and that's the cue for some of the Palace fans now. Quite a few of them actually, all around the stadium, to head for the exits. We are 90 seconds through the 4 added minutes in terms of football actually being played. And Manchester United now have the perfect opportunity to slow it down with Lamens as they look to move above Crystal Palace in the Premier League table and level on points with Aston Villa, who are 5th. Villa, of course, have a game in hand, which is against Wolves this afternoon. A flick on by Dorgu for Manchester United down the left-hand side. So United will be up to 6th. And with it, only a couple of points behind Chelsea. Out comes Dean Henderson, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Well, I make it we've had 2 of the 4 added minutes. Henderson hammers the ball high and long upfield, up to the midway point of the Manchester United half, headed away by a retreating Casemiro. 2-1 down, Crystal Palace. Time is running out for them. Richards with a long ball into the box, header away by Dalot, nodded down by Lerma to Hughes. Hughes trying to escape Mason Mount. Back it goes now to Lacroix. Richards and Lacroix again in the centre circle. Manchester United all in white with everybody behind the ball. Palace towards the Holmesdale Road end. Long ball by Devaney is headed away by Kobbie Mainoo this time. There's a real threat that Manchester United could break on Crystal Palace here. We've had 3 of the 4 added minutes. Will Hughes driving towards the edge of the D. He is fouled. That's a free kick, very much within shooting range. Foul by Casemiro. What a chance for Crystal Palace right at the very end.
Yeah, massive opportunity. Foul there from Casemiro. Has to bring Will Hughes down. Again, looking at it from Man United point of view, Bruno Fernandes trying to run away. Just keep the ball. See through this last minute. And this will be really indicative of this Man United team if Palace go and score here. Because they have it under control. It's all in their favour to go and just see this game through. And they turn the ball over. It's amateur hour at times, honestly.
I remember seeing Michael Olise score a free kick from a very similar position against Manchester United a couple of seasons ago, but that was to round off a 4-0 win. Here, Palace are 2-1 down, and we are in the 5th minute officially of added time. 4 in the Manchester United wall, and Bruno Fernandes, Mount rather, lying behind the wall. Devaney and Hughes standing over it. This could be the last action of the game. The crowd at Selhurst is on its feet. Justin Devaney is sizing this one up, the number 55. He's going to hit it left-footed here from just to the right of the edge of the D. Here goes Devaney into the wall. Good defending from Manchester United, but a poorly struck free kick, and that's it! And Manchester United players leap up into the air in celebration. They bounce back, and what a significant victory for Manchester United, who have the character and the appetite for the fight. They lost so disappointingly to Everton on Monday night at Old Trafford, but this is an important response for Ruben Amorim's team. A first defeat for Crystal Palace at home in the Premier League since mid-February. A first victory for Manchester United on this ground in more than 5 years. And Ruben Amorim strides away down the touchline. Doesn't look all that bothered about it, but there's no question this is a highly significant victory for the Manchester United head coach and for his team. It looked as though the game was going against them in familiar fashion when Mateta's penalty had Crystal Palace in front at half-time, and indeed Palace will live to regret the missed opportunities of the first half. But Xerxes and Mount, with excellent finishes, turn the game on its head, and Manchester United, well, you can see what it means to the players on the field of play on the far side as they look to go over and celebrate with the travelling fans in just a few moments. It has finished. Crystal Palace 1, dare I say it, a gutsy Manchester United 2.